And a very good day, everybody. Welcome to this month's edition of The Shepherd's Voice. And I'm going to turn the program over now to the Bishop of Trenton, Bishop David M. O'Connell. Welcome, Bishop.
Welcome to everybody. It's good to be here again. I'm sorry I missed the first Friday of April. I had a funeral, so I couldn't make it.
We understand.
Yeah.
Happy to have you this week, though.
That happens. It's so funny when you make your schedule and a funeral arises
Yes.
and everything gets thrown out of whack.
But good to have you here.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Today we're very happy to have with us on the program Father Jean Felicien. Father is from Haiti, and he is the priest secretary to me, the bishop, and the master of ceremonies. I'm sure many of our folks, our listeners, have seen him at ceremonies. He's usually dragging me around by the arm. He helps me get up and down stairs with my disability, and he's the vice chancellor of the diocese, also works in our tribunal. So he's got many, many hats, more hats than I have.
Uh-huh.
So we're glad to have him. He's going to talk to us in a little while about the current situation in Haiti, which is a concern for all of us. But here we are, just on the verge of Holy Week. And this Lent, well, I don't know how it went for you, but it went
Very
so
fast.
fast.
Yes, I know.
It just seemed to go by so faster than ever before.
It did.
Yeah, it was something. And you had your telethon. How did you do?
We did. Well, praise God. We have a very generous family of supporters out there who really came through for us. So
That's
big
wonderful.
help to us because, it's...
I know it's
times are tough.
Times are tough for everybody, and certainly for great organizations like Domestic Church Media.
Yes.
So I'm glad that it went.
Yes, thank you.
Well.
Thank you for your support too, Bishop.
Oh, you're most welcome. Always there. Holy Week, as you know, it's observed by Christians, Catholics. It's the week that leads up to Easter and commemorates the final days of our Lord on his passion and his death and his resurrection. And, its origins as a week date back to the very early church. It was maybe around the 4th century that the expression Holy Week started to be used in the church by figures like St. Athanasius. Initially, only Good Friday and Holy Saturday were observed in this kind of commemorative form in the early church. But by the 3rd century, the other days of the week that we celebrate were added to reflect the key events of Jesus' final week. By the 4th century, the church began assigning to each day some special significance to commemorate the events, beginning with the Jesus' triumphant entry into Jerusalem and continuing throughout the week, Holy Thursday, Good Friday, Holy Saturday, and then Easter Sunday. The rituals that we observe and that we are all familiar with and the practices have evolved over time. In the early church, the commemorations were much simpler. As time went on, different things, different practices, different customs were added to the celebration. Things like processions, Palm Sunday procession, Stations of the Cross were added. The washing of the feet, which people have become familiar with, was incorporated into the celebration of the Holy Thursday. Now, not every parish does that. Certainly during the recent experience of the pandemic, it kind of fell into disuse for a couple of years, but it's starting to pick up again. And important integral parts of the observance of Holy Week. And it's significant, not only for Catholics, but for Christians worldwide. And it's a week that we devote special reflection, special prayer, and devotions to the church. Now, here in the Diocese of Trenton, the Catholic Church flock, they go to their parishes to mark the solemnity of this week and the Easter joy that follows. The doors to Catholic Church throughout the Diocese of Trenton are wide open to hundreds of thousands of parishioners. We have about 800,000 registered Catholics in the Diocese of Trenton, and they come in great numbers to celebrate the Holy Week. Not only those who are, shall we say, veterans in the Catholic Church, but also the newcomers, the catechumenate, members of the catechumenate who participated in the rite of election a few weeks ago and who have been undergoing the scrutinies in their parishes in the last couple of weeks. They will come forward for their baptism and their Eucharist and their confirmation for the first time, so that's a great opportunity. Congratulations to them. But what the week really does is it retells the Passion of Christ. Palm Sunday. That's often referred to as Passion Sunday. And it commemorates Jesus' entry into Jerusalem for the Jewish feast of Passover. And it's the beginning of this most solemn week. I like to refer to it, in fact, I have referred to it frequently in homilies on Palm Sunday as the door of the house. You open that door, you go into the house that is Holy Week. The Passion is one of the accounts of the Passion is read during the celebration of Mass. And of course, we bless the palms, that sacramental that people take to their homes and display. Beautiful, beautiful day. This year, I will celebrate the Palm Sunday Mass at St. George's Church in Titusville, where Father Jean, who is our guest today, frequently celebrates Mass. And over the course of the week, I'll travel throughout the diocese to different parishes. I try to identify a parish, maybe a parish that I haven't been to for a while, so that I can celebrate with the Catholics there. Then on Monday is a special day in the diocese, in every diocese really. Not everybody celebrates it on Monday. Some dioceses celebrate it on Holy Thursday, but we have the Chrism Mass. Very important event. It's a great celebration of unity of the diocese, because at that Mass, myself as bishop and successor to the apostles gathers all of the priests of the diocese, as well as the deacons, the religious, and the lay faithful, to celebrate this special event when I consecrate Chrism and bless the holy oils that are used throughout the diocese for the sacraments. We have had this Mass, or the celebration of this Chrism Mass, at the Cathedral in Trenton for many years, and in more recent times we've moved the celebration to the Co-Cathedral in Freehold. Beautiful, beautiful Mass. And it will be celebrated on Monday, April 14th, Monday of Holy Week, at 7:30 p.m. at the Co-Cathedral. And everybody is invited. Everybody is welcome. The more the merrier, as they say. But as bishop, to be presiding at this Mass and look out over the Co-Cathedral, which is packed with the faithful. There are different elements to the Mass that are special. The name Chrism Mass comes from the fact that at this Mass, this is the Mass when the Chrism is consecrated, and so it takes that name. And the other holy oils, the oil of catechumens and the oil of the sick, are also blessed at that Mass. Beautiful, beautiful occasion. Also, at the Chrism Mass, the priests of the diocese, both the diocesan priest and the religious priest, will renew their priestly commitment, their priestly vow, as I will at that celebration. And that's very beautiful for the members of the faithful to witness that and to see all the priests from all the different parishes together, praying that they might be faithful to their commitments and that they may be very active and blessed during the course of the year. And so that's a beautiful occasion, and I hope our folks can make it. Then there's what's called the Sacred Triduum, the final days of Holy Week, Holy Thursday, Good Friday, and the Easter Vigil, and then, of course, on Sundays, Easter Sunday. And I'll be celebrating the Triduum on April 17th, Holy Thursday. I will be at St. Aloysius Parish in Jackson, and we'll be celebrating there. I won't be washing the feet at that Mass, so I don't want people to be surprised that that doesn't happen, but it won't be. But instead, this year, I will be welcoming one of the deacon candidates into the diocese as a candidate for Holy Orders, the diaconate, and another candidate for acolyte, one of the stages in preparation for diaconate and priesthood. So we'll do that celebration within the Mass on Holy Thursday, and the traditional adoration of the Eucharist and
Mhm.
procession with the Eucharist, and the reservation of the Eucharist for the adoration of the faithful. Good Friday, I'll be at the cathedral as I am every year, April 18th at noontime, where the services for the Lord's Passion and the distribution of Holy Communion. Now, Good Friday is not a mass. People sometimes will say, "Oh, I went to mass on Good
Mhm.
Friday." It's not a mass; it's a service,
Mm.
a service of the Lord's Passion, as opposed to Holy Thursday, which is a mass, Palm Sunday, which is a mass. Then on Holy Saturday, I will travel to Our Lady Queen of Peace in Hainesport for the Easter Vigil
Mhm.
and the welcoming of some of their catechumens. On Sunday, I will go to St. Mary's in Colts Neck to celebrate Easter Sunday Mass. So those are some of the wonderful opportunities
Mm.
that we have during the course of this week.
Mhm. Bishop, when I was growing up, you too, I'm sure, remember when they would drape the statues
Yeah.
in purple. And I didn't realize this, but I guess there was Passion Sunday was not Palm Sunday before the council. Passion Sunday was the Sunday before Palm Sunday.
Yeah,
And then that's when they would drape the statues, I guess.
yeah, with purple cloths
Yeah.
usually, and they would stay in place.
Mm-hmm.
Statues, the crucifixes, all of the
Right.
sacred symbols would stay covered
Right.
until the
Yeah.
Easter Vigil.
Now, is that still an option if a pastor wanted to do that, or
Yeah, many of them do.
would they?
You know, it fell into discontinuance
Mm-hmm.
uh, for I don't know why. It just
Mm-hmm.
did,
Yeah.
and but some parishes still do it.
Yeah.
Still
Yeah.
keep the custom. There's
Yeah.
no reason you can't
Right.
keep the custom.
Right. Right.
I always think it's a good thing to explain the reason for the
Right.
covering so that the people
Yeah, I
understand.
just remember as a kid, all of a sudden, everything was covered up.
I know.
I didn't know why. You walk
Yeah.
into church and everything's covered up in purple.
And I must say, in the last couple of weeks, I have seen it in churches.
Mhm.
I've seen the covering in the
Yeah,
churches.
yeah.
So, and then they remove them at Easter,
Yes.
Easter Vigil,
Yeah.
and as we sing the Gloria and the Alleluia's return and
Yeah.
all of that.
I think the Holy Thursday Mass is my favorite Mass of the whole year. The Holy
Beautiful
Mass of the Lord's
Mass,
Supper is just where everything's the vestments are white and the bells start to ring,
yeah.
and it's just a glorious
Yeah,
Mass.
it's
I
a
love that
beautiful
Mass.
Mass,
Yeah.
and so many things are remembered at the Holy Thursday Mass: the institution of the priesthood,
Mm-hmm.
the institution of the Eucharist,
Mm.
and the kind of the celebration of service as part and parcel of our life as
Mhm.
Catholics and
Yeah.
Christians. It just it's a reinvigoration
Yes.
of our faith the
Yes.
whole week. And
Mm-hmm.
so I invite our Catholics, our listeners, to try to get to your parish
Mm-hmm.
for some of these events or all of them if you can.
Yeah.
You know, people always joke about Palm Sunday that the churches are packed because you're giving something away. Ash Wednesday and Palm Sunday are
Yeah.
the biggies, but it's important to talk about the central acts of our faith, the
Mhm.
central commemorations of our faith. So I invite you to think about going, participating in these things, and there are some other things that are celebrated during the week. It'll be wonderful. Today, I had mentioned that we have with us Father Jean Felicien. Father Jean is going into his 11th year of the priesthood. I was happy to ordain him a priest a number of years ago, and happy that he now is working closely with me. Father, I sent Father a few years ago to study canon law at the Catholic University of America, where I myself studied canon law, and he returned and is working in the tribunal and doing a great job. But Father is from Haiti. I mentioned that in the beginning. And those of you who are following the news are aware that things are not going so well there, especially for the church.
Mhm.
And so I thought it would be important and good for us to be aware of our neighbors in Haiti and to have some information, firsthand information, really, about the situation in Haiti. So, Father Jean, what's going on in Haiti?
First of all, Bishop, let me thank you for inviting me to join you. That's a sign for me you hold the people in Haiti in your heart and those in the diocese. So it's been going on for a number of years. The situation has been deteriorated since after the assassination of the president. So the gangs, they are the one who control.
Who was the president at
He
the
was
time?
he died, but his name was Jovenel Moïse at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So since then,
How long ago would that have been?
3 years,
Years.
4 years, yeah, 21. Yeah, he was assassinated.
Is
And-
Haiti its own country or a territory?
Yes, we are his own country.
Mm-hmm.
So since then, we haven't been. There was no president, no government. So what they try to do, have a council of 9 members to lead the country. I think that has become a chaos too, you know. And then the gangs, they are the one who has power, and then they try to uh, cover many territory or cities as they can.
What's the population of Haiti?
At this point, we have 11 million people. It's very small island. It's like the size of New Jersey, so New York City. So New York City, I should say, not New Jersey. But yeah, we've been struggle. We've been struggle a lot, but we always have hope in God, and then people I've been talking to, those Haitian I know very well, they always give me that sense of hope. One day things might be better.
I saw recently some religious sisters were kidnapped. Were they killed too? They were.
Yeah, they killed them. There were 2 sisters from religious community called Saint Therese of Lisieux. So one of the part of Haiti, the gangs. So and then they caught them and then killed. So not only the nuns, but there were several other people who lost their life.
What's the Catholic population of Haiti?
The majority.
Majority?
The majority
they
are
are, okay.
Catholics. Yeah,
Mhm.
and then Christians is the most.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have any other denomination beside of Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
So
But there is a large Catholic population.
Yeah.
Oh.
yeah,
Hmm.
it's pretty much Catholic. I would
Mhm.
say.
And there's a
That-
cardinal there too, isn't there? In
Yes, just recently, I think 2014. So he's been elevated as cardinal.
He's been here. He's visited
Yeah,
us here. In the
yeah.
place.
When he has his one mess here in the diocese, his name is Cardinal Shibilangwa. He is in the south, one of the dioceses in the south of Haiti. So myself, I'm from the north. But the major problem in Haiti is the capital.
Mhm.
All the gangs, and then they try to get territory, and then they try to go to the provinces, and try to settle themselves. So that's why the situation is getting very more complicated because no government, and then our people, the population is really trying to be to defend themselves.
Is the
It-
church being repressed at all? Are people free to practice their faith?
Yeah, no religious persecution.
Mm-hmm.
Now people are free to practice the faith, but the only problem is that no one exempt. They attack the church for no reason, not because of they don't believe in God at all, just because the situation. Nobody exempt from that.
There's kind of a lawlessness that's there.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Oh, it's
indeed, yeah.
sad. It's hard to live in a situation like that.
It is. So people are very suffered from that situation. Haiti has never been a rich country, but we always, the people always try to manage to have a good life.
Mm-hmm.
So now the fear is that no one can go out. They are afraid to go out to do their own business. That's make it even more difficult, and then the poverty getting very very high.
And that must affect the sustaining the churches, the parishes. I mean, the people are even afraid that they're afraid to even go out to go to mass, or
Yes, mostly in the capital, in Port-au-Prince.
Mm.
I think the place where uh uh the cathedral of Port-au-Prince, I think this place has been abandoned for a number of years.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I think the archbishop live in the uh live in the other part of the city,
Mm-hmm.
so he's not in the center of Port-au-Prince.
Mm.
So
And when did you come to the United States, John?
I came in 2008, so that's where the year I came.
And you at one time belonged to a religious order, right?
Yeah, when I first thinking about becoming a priest, so I joined because I went to to high school run by the Redemptorists. So in Haiti, in my province, Gonaives. So that's why I joined the Redemptorists, about different province, Saint-Anne-de-Beaupré in Quebec City. So
We have the Redemptorists down at the San Alfonso Retreat
Mm-hmm.
House there.
Yeah.
The community is there, and of course, here in New Jersey, the Metropolitan Archbishop is Cardinal Tobin, who
is
is
also
a member of the
Mm.
Redemptorist community.
Mm.
yeah.
But you saw the light, and you came to the
Exactly.
Diocese of
I've seen the
Trenton.
light, and then I said, let me go to see, let me find the light. So
Mhm.
I'm glad to be here. So we have a
And you still have
wonderful and good
family.
bishop.
You still have family in Haiti.
Yes, I do. I
Mhm.
still have family.
So how are they?
Oh, thanks
responding?
God, I
Yeah.
got. There were some of my cousin. They were in the Port-au-Prince, so they have to flee.
Mm.
So they left Port-au-Prince so that they go to the place I was born, to the province, to my province. So provinces out there are fine, but because everything centered into Port-au-Prince.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to do something, to go to the embassy to get a visa, you have to go to Port-au-Prince to get it. So therefore, since Port-au-Prince is in danger, so the whole country also struggle.
Mm.
So that's the reality.
Mm.
Here in the diocese, you mentioned some communities of Haitians. Where are those communities located? I'm sure there are Haitians throughout the diocese, but are there places where there are a large community of Haitians?
Well, we have in the Diocese of Trenton, we have two center or two places. We have the Haitian community. We provide services for them in Asbury Park and in Mercerville, in Hamilton, I will do also St. Anthony. But the one in Hamilton, in Asbury Park, is smaller than the one we have in Trenton. I think Trenton is bigger community.
That's Our Lady of Mercy.
Our Lady of Souls,
Our
St.
Lady-
Anthony.
No, I mean in Asbury Park.
Yes, Our Lady of Mercy
Yeah,
Parish.
parish. And the school there.
They have a
children go
school.
to the school at Mount Carmel School there.
Yeah. But people come for mass. We provide, they come all over.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be at the Asian community. There were people coming from Philadelphia to come for mass. So because they used to live, or their relatives still living in Trenton area.
Oh,
So that's why they come. They feel that connection.
Mm-hmm.
So we have people from Ewing. Most of them live in Ewing,
uh-huh.
and then a few live in Trenton and Hamilton.
Hamilton area. I noticed going there for masses that I frequently see members of the Haitian community come, and you speak French, but your native language is Creole.
Creole.
What is the difference between those two? Because I've noticed sometimes listening to you that many of the words that you say I recognize from French.
Yes.
Um,
Certain words are very similar in French, but in terms of grammatically, the conjugation will be different in French. But the way I always look at it, it's a different language. It's not a dialogue Creole. It's a completely different language. It's a mother tongue. It's our mother tongue. Everybody speak it in Haiti, or every Haitian speak Creole. But when it comes to French, so you have to have certain level of education, because all our education we receive that in French, not
French?
in Creole.
Oh.
No,
How
That-
about celebration of the
in
Mass?
both.
You do both.
Now, in the past, everything used to be in French.
Yeah.
So even for me, now I hope they try to teach more Creole in school. I speak Creole, but it's very difficult for me to write it. Even with it, can be a challenge
Really?
for so many
Oh,
Haitians
wow.
because we just speak it, we spoke it, but not never
In school, did you speak Creole?
no French.
Oh, French.
But when you go at home,
No, we
Is
speak
Creole unique to Haiti, or other countries also speak?
it is unique.
Yeah.
But there are because Creole it's like a mix of a different kind
Isn't
of
that they have a lot of
languages.
Creole in New Orleans
New
area?
Orleans,
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
In Martinique, French, territory also, they have a different kind of Creole. In Jamaica, but it's different. It's like a mixing of everything. We have some Spanish words, some English words, some, some
Would it
French
would it
words.
be like Portuguese and Spanish?
Yes,
Different languages, but
different
there's
language, yeah.
some
There
similarities.
are some similarities. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. And when you came to the U.S., you located in Georgia, right? Is
Yes,
that where
that's
you-
where my family still live.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow, that is.
How did you decide to become a priest? What was an inspiration for your vocation, Father? in Haiti?
That's a very important question. I always thinking about, what brought me into the church is my parents. I was growing up always in church, I was actively, constantly in church as an altar boy, going to Catholic school. And then I was thinking about do something different. But when I really taking seriously about it in high school, and then that's why I went to, although in grammar school, I went to the Christian Brother, but in high school, that's why I put more, think further about that. And and then I was able to talk to a priest, the Redemptorist priest, who was the president or the principal in the high school. So he's the one who kind of guide me, and then to that path. So that's why I joined the Redemptorists first.
Yeah,
So I didn't
sure.
have too much connection with the with the
diocese
with the
there.
diocese. Yeah.
You know, when after I ordained you, what did I give you? I forgot. Was your first assignment? Was it Our Lady of Sorrows?
Yeah, he was our leader, so Saint Anthony.
St. Anthony's. Well, there's a Haitian priest there. Father
Yes,
Pierre
now Father Pierre Alabre
Alabre. And there's also a Haitian priest down in Asbury
in
Park.
Asbury Park, Father Paul Janvier.
And both of them have been incardinated into the Diocese of Trenton. So we're very, very happy to have them, always enjoy. And Father, of course, Monsignor Gervasio is the pastor there at Our Lady of Sorrows. He was your pastor
He was my pastor.
when you first came. And then after that, is that when we sent you to study canon law?
Yes, I was with them for 4 years, my first 4 years as a priest. And I was ordained in 2014. And then I was there for until 2018. And then you asked me if I can go study canon law. And then from 2018 to 21, I was in Washington for canon law. But I was still living in residence with Monsignor Gervasio when school was in recess. So that's why I always said to Monsignor, I was with you for 7 years for doing my penance service.
Well, Father Gervasio Monsignor Gervasio is your good friend, and I can tell it because
is.
every time we're together, you're both needling one another and
Yeah, we
joking with one.
we travel together too. That's a good sign,
Yeah, that's
So yeah.
And you went on a pilgrimage with him.
Yes, that's recently, early in February, we were in Italy or in Rome for a pilgrimage
for the Holy Year.
for the Holy Year.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great. And then after you came back from Catholic University, you went to
I
Pennington?
was to St. James in Pennington for 2 years, and then from there, you asked me if I to become your secretary.
Yeah. I won't ask you how you like it.
It's great, Bishop.
We live together and enjoy each other's company and have a lot of good. Of course, John helps me greatly because of my disability. I need a little extra help, probably more than most other bishops, and he's just very generous in offering me his help and assistance, and we have a lot of fun too. Father Jean is a happy man and a happy priest, and his company is very, very pleasant. And as I said in the beginning, you probably recognize him from all the pictures in the monitor because every time you see me, you see him
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
walking and serving in the
Yeah.
masses and doing all kinds of great things. It's a wonderful, wonderful
you know,
thing.
we try to be happy. You know, this, you know, that's something I think that's in our gene as, you know, Haitian. You know, we always try to be happy
A lot of
despite
joy.
of the despair
Mhm.
we have, the suffering. But you know, we always make that comparison. You know, the level of suicide. You know, it's very minimum in Haiti.
Isn't
You know, sometimes we might say people get depressed because of the situation they've been
Sure.
through. But in Haiti, we still, I don't, you know, we don't find that so, you know, constantly. You know, people, they still have hope.
I was gonna
Things
say,
will
is there any
change.
hope for reestablishment of a government, a secure government, or there's, I mean, who's in control? Who's
Yes, the gangs are in control.
that's it? The
Oh
gangs.
my.
Yeah.
The going gangs are in control because even, you know,
Mm-hmm.
they, the UN brought, you know, make some arrangements, including the US too. They have brought people, police men from Kenya
Mm.
to try because the UN have decided not to put the UN army,
Mm.
but they sent Kenyans because they said Kenyans have been very good controlling the situation in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
But since they've been there for almost 3 years,
Yeah. Not
we
working.
don't see, or 9 months, I said, they don't see any progress.
Yeah.
Actually, some of them get killed by the gangs.
Oh my.
Mm.
So technically, the gangs are really powerful.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
What's the purpose of the gangs? Like in some, we hear about some gangs and they're related to drugs or human trafficking or other things. What makes the gangs gangs? What makes them come together?
in Haiti, it's completely different. It's not about drugs. Okay, they can use drugs as well. But what we believe that make the gangs, those who try to be in power,
Mm-hmm.
they give weapons to people so that when there is elections, so they can steal
Oh.
the election. Now they lose control of those weapons.
Mm-hmm.
They're already in the hands of bad people.
Yeah.
So and then now they kidnap people for a ransom for money.
Oh.
Mm.
So that's
So power and money. Those
power,
are the
yeah.
things that always draw us into trouble,
yeah,
especially when there's not some good guidance and
Mm.
yeah.
you know it doesn't seem to be a country of effective laws.
No, not at all, not at all. Unfortunately, and then those members of those gangs, the young kids,
Mm.
I'm
Hmm.
even older than older than some of them,
Yeah.
20, 30 years old.
Wow,
Yeah, that's sad.
it is sad.
And there's probably no opportunity to come and go as people please. I mean, you could not go home if you wanted to, or
No, he's been a couple years.
Yeah.
It's been 5 years.
yeah.
I would love to, but the situation is so tense,
Yeah.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
Although he's not big in my province, but my brother from Georgia, he went almost every year. But my sister and I always said, "Why are you going?
Mm.
You know, if something happened, I'm not gonna go. If something
Mhm.
happened to you,
Yeah.
you know, just that's sad to say, but and at the same times, you know, I pray for the people. I have many good friends. So
Mm.
every day you know, I try to do my best, what I can do, you know, send some cash to support them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They have kids,
Yeah.
you know, they have to go to school. Because that's why I see things, you know, because the gangs, those who are member of the gangs, they control the people where they live. And then they even promote that. They say, okay, the government can do nothing for them. And then they give some kids money so that they can send them to school.
Mm.
Oh,
So
Now, was it at one time a tourist spot for
yes,
a lot of?
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
But now because of the situation, a lot of the tourism, a lot of tourists they don't
No.
they don't go, they don't
Yeah.
travel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
and you're now a U.S. citizen. so-
Yes, since 13th, I became a U.S. citizen.
Did you go to seminary here, Father?
I did.
Mm-hmm.
I went first for my in St. Mary's in Baltimore.
Oh, okay.
So I
And
started
how did we
Haiti.
get him here, Bishop? How did we get him here in Trenton?
Well, I
what-
can answer that
You
because
can
I
say-
came to my parents. they were already here.
Uh-huh.
So they gave me, the green card.
Okay.
So in order for me
Uh-huh.
to come here.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I came, I lived with them down in Georgia.
Okay.
And then I got they used to live in New Jersey, and then they moved away to Georgia
I
before I came.
Mm-hmm.
So I still have some connection people, they knew. And then one day I visited
Mm-hmm.
one of my close friends whom I knew from Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
So when I came for a summer to visit, that's the only connection I have to the diocese.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I went back to Georgia, and then I said maybe I may come back to New Jersey
Mm-hmm.
to continue to discern my calling.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the meantime, my friend helped me find a job at in Princeton
Okay.
at the Nassau Inn.
Okay.
So I worked there for 9 months. In the meantime, I tried to learn my English, to improve my English, because when I came, I didn't speak English. We don't speak English in here.
Oh, okay.
No, we don't. We learn it in high school
Yes.
just to pass, but we don't speak it. So it takes me a couple times, a couple years,
And when
to
you
learn.
came to the diocese, to Trenton, when you were working at the Nassau Inn, you lived with Monsignor Dennis Appledight?
Yes, I
at
live with
the
Monsignor Appledight.
Sacred Heart Parish in
Mhm.
Trenton. He was, in a way, a good patron, good
Yeah.
friend of yours. It still is.
It is. It's still,
He's a good man, as we all know, and
yeah,
he too is your friend.
yeah.
And you mentioned about the hopefulness you find in the Haitian community despite the difficulties and the worries. And I must say, I find the Haitian people to be among the happiest people I've ever met. They always seem to be happy
Mm-hmm.
when I see them at Mass or see them after Mass. Always happy, always joyful. And Father John, he said he has many, many friends, and that's true. And I can tell because our refrigerator is filled with
Yeah.
food from the Haitian community.
Ah.
They make sure that he's well fed and taken
Okay.
care of,
Ah.
which is a great thing too.
Yeah.
So, it was wonderful to be with the Haitian community and celebrate. In fact, this past Christmas, I
Christmas,
had the midnight mass at Our Lady of Sorrows, St. Anthony's, and I preached it in French because of the number of Haitians who were at the mass.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was in the pulpit, I said to me, "Well, I gave the whole homily in French." And then I said, "Geez, there really isn't that many French-speaking people out there. Some of the people are just looking at me, but
Uh-huh.
it was
They
great.
love it, Bishop.
They-
They really appreciate that. So,
Yes, I
yeah.
think so. And we mentioned the Cardinal. He came to visit at Our Lady of Sorrows, St. Anthony's. And in these days, when people are speculating about the successor to Pope Francis when the time comes, frequently I see his picture in some of the articles.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows?
He himself was involved in a very, car accident. The Cardinal.
Oh, terrible.
So he
accident,
got he got injured seriously,
Mm.
but there was another bishop from the south as well. He was attacked by
Really?
by one of the gang's members.
Mm.
Oh, my.
They burned his house, and he was
Oh, my
was
heavens.
completely burned. And then you can see he's still not feeling well. He came
Wow.
to Miami to get treatment.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my.
So the situation is very
Yeah.
dramatic.
Now you don't really hear much about that.
Yeah,
here.
that's sad. That's sad
Yeah.
too, because the other day I saw on one of the on social media, one man who stand with the Haitian flag on the middle of the island
Mm-hmm.
in the ocean, and then they said in the Bible, they said, Haiti left behind, nobody look after Haiti.
Mm.
I said, well, but I think what I said to that situation, I said the situation in Haiti is not, we can compare that like other country, like fighting
Mm-hmm.
a country that invades another country.
Yeah.
That's different.
Mm-hmm.
So that we can have some other intervention from
Mhm.
outside.
Right.
I think the fight is between
Is within.
ourselves.
Yeah, within. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think that if there is any outcome, that should come first
Mm-hmm.
from us.
That's come from within. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, that's why I thought it was so important, really, to come on the show today and to speak a little bit to people because you do see little bits and pieces
Mhm.
in articles and magazines, but we're close neighbors to Haiti, and to hear the stories
Yeah.
firsthand is
Mm-hmm.
it's very discouraging, and
Mhm.
we really have to pray for the people of Haiti and pray for the resolution of some of these problems.
Yeah.
But they're very difficult and very complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I'm grateful to Father Jean for coming on today and for sharing a little bit so people can learn a little bit more. You know,
Yeah.
you don't always get accurate information
That's
Mhm.
true.
as
That's
we know
true,
that
yeah.
about many things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just said, oh, well, why don't I invite Father to come on since he lives with me and he's going to be with me anyway. So
Mm-hmm.
give him a
Yeah.
chance really to share his story and the
Mhm.
story of his people.
Mm-hmm.
So I thank you, Father Jean, for that
Thank
and
you, Bishop.
Thank you,
all that
Father.
you
Thank you,
do.
Jen. Thank you so much.
Your good spirit, your happiness, your joy, and your service of many of our Haitian people here in the Diocese of Trenton.
Mm.
I know they love to see you, not
I
only the
love them.
Haitians, but everybody loves them.
Mhm. Mhm.
When we go places, people leave me in the dust. They all crowd around John.
I heard
Well,
someone say he was the Haitian sensation.
Oh yeah, that's the name.
That was
That
it.
name was given to me by one of my
Well,
dear friend priest. Unfortunately, the Lord called him a couple years ago,
Uh-huh.
Monsignor Rick Tofani.
oh yeah, people know Rick
So
from Our
that's
Lady of
the place we go in for
yeah,
the vigil.
Okay.
He was the pastor there
Uh-huh.
in
yeah.
Hensport.
And you
So
were assigned there too, weren't you? At one point,
yes,
as
as a seminarian, I was assigned with him.
Yeah.
And actually, he gave me a bike. He was a biker,
Oh, okay.
Monsignor Tofani.
Uh-huh.
He used to do the anchor house.
Mm-hmm.
So he gave me one bike, which I'm still using.
Mm-hmm.
So and then he marketed the Haitian sensation.
Ah,
So
okay.
That's what they call you,
they
Father
call
Jean.
me,
Yeah.
yeah.
The Haitians. Now, being a master chef, Bishop, have you picked up any Creole cooking yourself? or-
No, actually, because
He doesn't eat fish or
I
goat.
don't eat fish,
Are you doing it?
and Father Jean loves fish
Uh-huh.
and also goat.
Goat, really?
Goat, legumes, so he doesn't eat any of these. So.
Legume, yeah. Well, and right near our house, there's a lot of sheep and cows, and a lot of
Mhm.
farms in the area
Mm-hmm.
in our part of the Garden State, anyway.
Mhm.
And I said to Father one day, I says, because we have such a big backyard, I said, I think I might get a goat or two, and because they stay in they won't go wandering, and they'll
Right.
stay there, and
Yeah.
there's a goat farm very close to our house, and he said, "Oh, that would be great." And I says, "You're licking your lips. I don't think those goats will live that long if I bring
Hey,
them."
they'll sleep
Yep.
with one eye open.
Exactly, that's the main dish in Haiti.
Is it
too.
really?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Have you ever had goat?
I've never had goat.
I've
no.
never had goat.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could eat them.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, it's like eating lamb.
Lamb?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's the taste.
And you
That's
get
the taste.
you
yeah.
get milk from the goats,
Goat's
right?
Yeah,
milk and
yeah.
You get
cheese.
cheese.
Yeah.
You get is
All
that
of
feta cheese made from goat milk? Is
Yeah.
that-
Yeah, good cheese.
But I'm sorry to say, I'm not I'm not familiar with a lot of the food from the Haitian community, and but I don't have to do the cooking because Father Jean brings from so many of his friends, so that I make what I like
you-
and
so
he
you-
makes what he
So you
likes.
haven't eaten goat yet, then?
no.
I never had it.
Oh.
I should
Maybe
try
for
it.
Easter.
I should try
Make
it.
him a goat.
Yeah.
Make him some goat for Easter.
Well, we're going out. We're going to St. Mary's in Colts Neck, and we'll go out for dinner
Okay.
this year
Mm-hmm.
because the big 7-0 is arriving.
Wow.
The day after
Congratulations.
Easter, I'll be 70. So
Join the club.
Yeah, I'm glad to be part of the club. And then we are after that. The next day, we are leaving for Paris.
Yes.
The Vincentian community to which I belong, the Congregation of the Mission, is celebrating the 400th anniversary of the congregation. They did a restoration of our mother house, Maison Mère, in Paris. The name of the house is Saint Lazare. And in many parts of the world, the Vincentians are called Lazarists because of the community originating in Saint Lazare. So we're going there. The Superior General. This is a funny story. Do we have
No,
time?
we got.
So I got an invitation from the Superior General of the Order Father Tomas Maverick, his name is. And he wrote and he said, we are going to have the celebration of the 400th anniversary. Would you come to Paris for the celebration? Well, I was not particularly interested. You know, travel is not easy for
Right,
me these
right.
days, and so I wasn't particularly interested. So you know what the Superior General did? He went over and found Jean and said to him, have you ever been to Paris? And Jean said, no. And he says, oh, why don't you talk him into coming to Paris?
Ah, okay.
So Father Jean came. He says, oh, you know, maybe it'd be good for you to go to Paris. So we decided to go. And then when I mentioned it to a few priests, they said, oh, can we go with you? So
Mhm.
we have about 18 priests
Oh,
going.
wow.
So I said, well, let's turn it into a pilgrimage.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we're going to celebrate Mass at Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, the Vincentian community has offered to invite the Vincentians or the priests diocesan priests who will be with me, to join them to celebrate Vespers in Notre Dame the night before.
Wow.
So we'll have a great opportunity to
Yeah,
pray and to
yeah.
celebrate Mass there.
Mhm.
And then while we're there, as a pilgrimage, you know, everybody's going to Rome for the pilgrimage during this
Mhm.
holy year. And I
Mhm.
decided, well, let's go to Paris instead,
Mm-hmm.
since I was going. And so we're going to visit Sacré-Cœur and Montmartre, Notre Dame, as I said, Chartres, the Chapel of Our Lady of Victory,
Mm-hmm.
the Church of St. Mary Magdalene, all the churches
Mm-hmm.
in Paris. And while we're there, because April in Paris is a good time.
It's also a good song.
And yeah, I know.
Yes.
I burst into song with that
Uh-huh.
April in Paris a couple times, and everybody, I think I'm too old.
Yeah, right. No, I know. I hear
it's
you.
not.
Yeah.
It's not the age for this group.
I didn't
no.
know Taylor Swift sang a song called
Yeah, this was big Count Basie's.
Yeah, that's
you know,
right.
Was
That's
famous
right.
for that. So we'll go there, and we'll also do some touring
Mm-hmm.
in the different. We'll go. Father Jean mentioned Saint Therese of Lisieux. We'll go to
Mm-hmm.
the basilica there, where she is buried, and
Mhm.
celebrate Mass there. So it'll be a very, very nice occasion, and I'm happy to.
And when do you leave?
April 22nd.
22nd.
So 21st is my birthday.
Mhm.
20th is Easter. So we'll skedaddle right after the Easter
Mhm.
celebrations come to a close, and we'll be there until May the 1st.
Mm-hmm.
And we are traveling with Carolyn Norbert, who has
Yes.
her own travel
Mm-hmm.
agencies, Journeys of Faith,
Mm-hmm.
and she always sets up a wonderful tour,
Mm-hmm.
and she does for many of the parishes in
Yeah.
the diocese
Yeah.
during this year, because it is a Holy Year pilgrimage year, are going on pilgrimages to Rome.
Right. And that's
And
where Father
Italy.
Jean, we were on one recently.
Yeah.
Yes.
To Rome.
Yeah, it was in February.
Just Rome you went to? Just Rome?
Yes. No, actually, we do a couple of places like Milan,
Oh, okay.
Assisi, Florence,
okay.
and
Oh.
then we ended it in
Okay.
Rome.
All
They-
roads lead to Rome.
Yeah, that's right. And they went to visit the tomb of Carlo Acutis, who was
Acutis
Oh.
and Assisi.
who
In
will
Assisi,
be
yeah.
Yeah.
canonized April 27th,
Okay.
Yeah.
actually. And this is a special jubilee for youth
Mm-hmm.
and for teens. And so Rome will be packed
Yeah.
Mm.
for that. In
Yeah.
fact, we have a diocesan shrine to
Yes.
Carlo Acutis in St. Dominic's Parish in Brick.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Father
Woodrow.
Woodrow will be
Go.
Going-
Oh, was he going for the
going for the canonization, and Father Marion.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, he will be in France with us, and then from there, he's going to,
Oh, he will.
yeah.
Oh, he's going to be in France with us?
Yeah.
Oh,
And then
great.
from France, he's going to.
He's
join
gonna
for
go
the
there?
Canonization. Yeah.
That's beautiful. I don't know whether the folks in the diocese nearby Brick, or even if you're not nearby Brick, have had the chance to visit
Oh,
St.
it's a
Dominic's
beautiful shrine.
Church.
Yeah.
And the shrine is very
Mhm.
beautiful. That's
Mhm.
his mother. Carlo Acutis' mother came
Yes,
and brought the relic
that's right.
uh,
Yeah, I remember that.
during the Mass. Father Marion, who is stationed there as a parochial vicar, and he's the chaplain for the local hospital, he was the one who obtained the relic for
Mm.
us and brought it back. And so
Mhm.
he'll also be going to
Mm-hmm.
the canonization. So this should be a great event. I know Cardinal Dolan was saying he has about 200 people on his pilgrimage to
Really?
Wow.
Rome for that event
Mm-hmm.
and for
Yeah.
the Holy Year. So that's
And the Holy Father's hanging in there.
He is.
You know,
Thank
I
you,
mean, I
God.
saw him. He was made a surprise visit to St. Peter's yesterday, but he wasn't in his. He just had like a kind of a blanket over and black pants, like his more of a priestly outfit
Yeah.
than his papal outfit.
Well, he met with the King and Queen of England,
Yeah, yeah.
which they were planning to meet. Then he got sick, and then they
Mhm.
canceled it, and then it was put on the calendar again. So
Mhm.
they had a very nice visit with him. You know, he's swollen. I think he
Yeah.
probably is taking a lot of steroids
Mhm.
for his situation.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see him, you see he has the
The oxygen.
oxygen
Yeah.
going. But you know, he's smiling. He's greeting people. They brought him out to the audience the other
Yeah.
day and had a chance to greet people.
Yeah.
I kind of worried when I saw him coming out and shaking all those hands because the doctors told him to avoid a lot of contact.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know, he's Pope. He'll
He's
do what he
Pope,
wants.
yeah.
But we continue to pray for him and for
Mhm.
his recovery at his age. And it's,
Busy week coming up, but he won't be. I'm sure
I
be
don't
doing
think
all
he'll
his
be involved. I
activities.
don't know. Maybe they'll bring him out in a wheelchair. And
Yeah. I remember the last, it was the last Holy Week of our Holy Father Saint Pope John Paul II. He was watching on TV the stations from the Colosseum.
Oh,
He
yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
go to anything, obviously, but he was still participating that way.
yeah, he was.
But so who knows?
Well, both of them are great examples of heroic suffering
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and joining their suffering to those of our
Yeah.
Lord. And this is the week when that becomes particularly
Right.
poignant.
That's
Mhm.
right.
But God bless him. I hope he's able to maintain his health as much as possible and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
stay comfortable. And they say he's back to do some work. And,
Yeah.
Well,
even
that's-
even the hospital, I think he was doing some work. They said still.
yeah.
So.
I mean, he has where he lives, Casa Santa Marta. I've stayed there many times. Is a very convenient location. They have. I mean, there's everything there. The big dining room and the chapel
Mhm.
and
Mm-hmm.
places where he can work and places where he can meet people in the
Mhm.
library there. So
Mm-hmm.
the Daughters of Charity are the ones who kind of work there, and the daughters, of course, are the Sisters of the Vincentians.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've had lots of opportunities to go there to visit with them and to stay at that place. And
Mm-hmm.
although last year when I went, we didn't stay there. We
No,
stayed
we
at the
didn't stay.
Michelangelo Hotel, which is really
Oh, yeah,
close.
we've stayed there.
Have you been
Beautiful.
there?
Yeah,
Beautiful hotel, really
and
good.
convenient.
Yeah,
Very
very convenient. Very
Very
convenient.
convenient, and for me, especially with my trouble walking,
Yeah.
You made it a couple times
I did.
from there to St. Peter.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
We went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could do. You could. Even I did that walk. When
Yeah.
we were there.
And Father John greeted the Holy Father. The Holy
Right.
Father spoke to him in Creole.
Oh,
a
he
little
did?
few
Yeah.
Creole.
Oh, how about that?
he
And
is-
I said to the Holy Father, "Don't get any ideas. You can't keep him here. He's coming back with me." So we had a wonderful, wonderful visit.
Oh, wonderful. So we're just about out of time, Bishop. And again, want to thank you for being here and wish you a very happy and blessed Easter, Father John. Same thing. Happy Easter to you
Yes,
too,
you
and
too.
safe trip, safe travels.
Yeah, we'll be back
Happy
on
birthday.
Yeah, thanks a lot. We'll be back on May the 1st, or we're leaving there to come home on May the 1st. And on May the 3rd, all the dioceses of New Jersey are gathering at the Co-Cathedral of Trenton
Yes.
for celebration of the 1700th anniversary of the Council of Nicaea
Yes.
and the Nicene Creed, which we pray so often, very, very important, not only for Catholics, but the Orthodox and others as well. So we're going to have a celebration there. Cardinal Tobin had asked if that would be possible to use the Co-Cathedral, so we'll gather there. I'm sure everyone is welcome.
And
Everyone
Monsignor
is-
Siriani was talking about that
Yeah.
with the lady. So.
Yeah, that May the 3rd, unfortunately, that's the Saturday for First Communions in most
Oh, okay.
parishes. So
Yeah,
I don't know that a lot of our priests will be able to make
Yeah,
it, but
yeah.
all the parishioners are certainly welcome to come. And
All right.
deacons and, oh, that's great
Well, thank
stuff.
you.
And let me just put in a plug for the Educational Choice for Children Act. We've got to push our elected leaders to support the need for our parents to be able to have the benefit of choosing whatever schools their children want to attend. So you'll be hearing more about that from me in the future.
All right. Very good. Well, thank you very much, Father John. Welcome, and we'll come back again soon.
Definitely.
Bishop, we'll see you next month.
How do you say Happy Easter in Creole?
Joyeux Pâques. Just in French.
Say it
We
in
don't
French.
change it, but it's spelling with different.
All right. There you go.
Joyeux Pâques.
Happy Easter,
Happy
everyone.
Easter.
Happy
Easter.
Holy Week.